I think a lot of y'all probably know this one's very personal. I'm a woman who's had an abortion in this state, and it is really tough to sit and talk about it. And I appreciate y'all engaging on it, and I appreciate Senator Hughes's work on this. And it's just hard. It's just hard because it's the folks who are working on this fix are, from my perspective, the folks who have created the problem. And it's been very difficult to experience the problem in such a personal way, not only for myself, but for dear friends that have needed abortions, for patients who are pregnant, who are struggling and fearful, for physicians and nurses that I practice with, who've really struggled. And so we know reproductive health care in this state is really broken, has been for some time. Over the past 4 years, we've watched women suffer and die. And this bill is the confirmation that we all agree that something is broken in Texas. And I am also grateful. I'm grateful for the way that this bill is going to carve out the medical exceptions that hospitals and doctors are begging for. But it does leave Texans in the worst, most devastating situations without recourse. After this bill passes, and I'm voting yes on it, Texans will still not be able to receive an abortion in case of incest, rape, or fatal fetal anomalies. I just want to talk a second about the fatal fetal anomalies. What I heard Senator Hughes say, and it was beautiful, is that some people whose fetus is not viable, whose pregnancy is not viable, will choose to carry it to term. And that's what they need, to love the little potential inside of them and to grieve and to do right by their own spirits. Some of us would make a different choice for the exact same reasons. And that's what we want, is that choice to grieve and to love and to experience pregnancy in the way that is just so unique and so personal. So even with this bill, which I do think will save lives, we are forcing Texas mothers to risk their lives, to carry non-viable pregnancies or terminal fetuses all the way to term, potentially having to give birth. And what a tragic metaphor that is, to give birth to death. And in the meantime, we traumatize our healthcare workforce, our physicians, our nurses, my coworkers. And we're talking a lot about these medical exceptions, which is so important. And thank you again, Senator, and thank you to everyone who's voting for this. But I can tell you, in the same way that the body knows sometimes when a pregnancy needs to not continue. And the physicians know when we've got to intervene. Your highest self can also know. There are spiritual and emotional reasons to take action not to carry a pregnancy to term. And so I just want to emphasize that. There are medical reasons, there are emotional reasons, there are spiritual reasons. And in my opinion, truly just and medically sound policy would leave that decision between women and their doctors, or pregnant Texans and their doctors. So SB 31 is not a full solution, but it is a step to give medical providers clear, consistent, and uniform guidelines. I do also think that this issue belongs on the ballot. And we've seen a lot of support for ballot measures across the United States, even where the leadership that they elect doesn't necessarily support broad abortion access. But I suspect we know that it's not going on the ballot because people would vote for it. And that's not the intention of this chamber, to open us up to the true spectrum of reproductive health care that Texans need and deserve. But I am voting yes because these clarifications will save lives. I'm just heartbroken that this legislature refuses to restore abortion care in Texas, and that other lives will be lost because of that. So thank you to every single Texan who spoke up. People have shared their hearts, their stories, their tragedies, their pain with us. And that's the reason that we're even able to have this conversation today. So I'm just so grateful to the people of Texas who've never given up, who continue to show up, to speak up, and to fight to restore safe, legal abortion care in Texas. And it's easy to say that it's malpractice and blame physicians, but I admire, Senator, everybody in this chamber who says we take responsibility for the outcomes of our policies. We don't get mad at people for the way that policies end up really being implemented and playing out in exam rooms. We are taking ownership of this policy and we're working to fix it. And I just want to say a special thank you to the women in this chamber, to Senator Alvarado, who has done so much for Texas women, for me. I really admire all of the work that has gone into making this the best possible bill it can be. So thank you all so much.